I like it because I know one thing for certain is that if you do get married, you must commit yourself to that.
What if everything you thought you knew about Cliff Richard was only half the story? He wasn't just a pop idol, he was Britain's first true rock star. From the heat of British India to the top of the charts in London, Cliff built an empire, only to be nearly destroyed by lies, betrayal, and a media ambush seen live across the globe. But the question remains, why did Cliff Richard vanish from the spotlight? What really happened? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear will change how you see him forever. He was born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940, at King George's Hospital in Lucknow, during the height of World War II. His early years unfolded in a country caught between rebellion and empire. When riots broke out in 1946 during Direct Action Day, British families began fleeing India. Among them were the Webbs. They didn't escape on a jet, but on a ship, the SS Ranchi. 3 long weeks across the ocean brought them to a post-war England stripped of glamour and warmth. They settled in Surrey, in a modest home, trading servants and sunshine for rationing and gray skies. But hardship forged ambition. Inside young Harry, something sparked. The drive to rise, to become more. Everything changed when a man named Harry Greatorex suggested a bold rebranding. Cliff, he said, strong, unshakable, like a cliff face. And Richard, a tribute to the electric energy of Little Richard. With that, Cliff Richard was born, and so was the British rock era. On August 29, 1958, his debut single Move It roared onto the scene. Cliff was just 18, but the sound was raw, edgy, and entirely original. This wasn't imitation, it was innovation. British youth finally had their own rock star, and Cliff mania erupted. Girls screamed, boys copied his hairstyle and fashion. Crowds became so wild that security teams struggled to keep control. In 1959, Living Doll hit #1 and held the top spot for 6 weeks. Even though Cliff had hated the song at first, it sold over 770,000 copies. Then came Travelin' Light, another smash. By the end of the year, Cliff had shattered records, becoming the first British artist to sell over 1 million records. Hollywood took notice. In Serious Charge, Cliff played a dramatic role that tackled taboo subjects like false accusations and homosexuality. An unheard-of move for a teen idol. He followed it up with Espresso Bongo, and, in 1963, the iconic Summer Holiday, which saw thousands of fans flood Leicester Square. He had arrived, and he wasn't going anywhere. Even as the Beatles took the world by storm, Cliff Richard stood firm. In 1964, during the height of Beatlemania, Cliff landed 6 top 10 hits, more than the Fab Four. Songs like Constantly and I Could Easily Fall in Love with You kept him on top. Even Paul McCartney admitted they left for Hamburg because Cliff had everything sewn up in Britain. John Lennon put it bluntly, "Before Cliff Richard and Move It, there was nothing worth listening to in England." In 1965, New Musical Express polled fans worldwide. The winner for Best Male Singer? Not Elvis, not Lennon or McCartney. It was Cliff. While others reinvented themselves, he stayed consistent, blending faith, pop, and honest charm. Fans appreciated that stability. Then, in June 1966, something happened no one expected. At Earl's Court, Cliff stood beside evangelist Billy Graham and declared he had become a Christian. The man once seen as rebellious had taken a spiritual stand. It shocked fans. Some wept. Others feared the end of his career. Even Cliff considered leaving music, wondering if he could be both spiritual and a star. But he didn't leave. Instead, he pioneered a new path, living his faith openly while topping charts. He later said his stage persona had been a mask, but after finding God, my confidence grew. My attitude changed. No longer pretending, Cliff became his true self, and fans loved him even more for it. But by the mid-1970s, the hits dried up. Then, in 1976, Devil Woman roared onto the charts. It was gritty, mysterious, and darker than anything he had done. It sold over 2 million copies and reached number 6 in the US. Rock legends like Eric Clapton and Elton John praised him. Cliff was back, no longer just a pop star, but a serious artist. His 1987 album, Always Guaranteed, went platinum. Inspired by Michael Jackson's Thriller, it combined timeless pop with modern edge. Then, in 1988, Mistletoe and Wine, a soft, faith-based Christmas song, debuted at number 1 and stayed there for 4 weeks, becoming the year's biggest UK single. Even decades later, it still earns 6 figures in royalties every year. In 1989, he celebrated a monumental milestone, his 100th single, The Best of Me. No British artist had done it before. He marked the occasion at the London Palladium, letting fans vote for the song. It charted at number 2 and went silver. That same year, he performed the event at Wembley Stadium, recreating his 1950s roots and modern hits in one unforgettable concert. Later, he received the Bright Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music. By then, he'd done what no one else had, scored number 1 hits in 5 straight decades. In 1990, Cliff Richard stood shoulder to shoulder with the greatest names in music at Knebworth Park, performing alongside Paul McCartney, Genesis, Pink Floyd, and Phil Collins. Despite relentless rain, thousands stayed, proving Cliff's enduring legacy. Later that year, he scored another number 1 with Savior's Day, a Christmas single pitched to him in a Rolls-Royce. It knocked Vanilla Ice off the charts and became a seasonal classic. But in 1999, Cliff released his most unexpected hit, The Millennium Prayer. A blend of the Lord's Prayer and Auld Lang Syne, it was dismissed by major stations. BBC Radio 2 refused to play it, calling it too religious. Yet fans rallied. With no radio play and no major label support, the song still hit number 1 for 3 straight weeks. It wasn't just a victory, it was a message of defiance. Their relationship was turbulent and never led to marriage, but Olivia and Cliff never crossed that line. Despite performing timeless duets like Suddenly and remaining close friends for over 5 decades, she was the love he never had. When Olivia passed away in 2022 after a long battle with cancer, Cliff was heartbroken. "She didn't die," he said. "She just stopped living." Adversity. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold journeys of music legends. Cliff Richard's legacy is one of strength, heartbreak, and timeless talent. Drop a comment below. What's your favorite Cliff Richard moment? Let's keep his incredible story alive together. Thanks for watching.